Hello, my name is Joseph Pirayou. I want to welcome you to today's program. Uh, we're reading from a book. It's called "Massacres, Resistant Protectors," and uh, the subject that I talked about last time was that the author did research during his uh, the what they call that the purpose that he had to gather information on the massacre that happened to the uh, as he calls them Syriacs or Chaldeans or Assyrians, and he says they are the same people but known by different denominations and things like that. Uh, so the last program I talked about the just general idea of what the author was like. Why would somebody want to talk about something like that that is not that important? Like when you look worldwide, why should people care about this such a small group of people that they were massacred? This is mostly about the Assyrians. Of course, he calls them Syriacs or Chaldeans, and I'm glad that he has done this because we have some information regarding what is called SEYFO. I think the last program I explained SEYFO in our language. So SEYFO in the Western dialect, SEYFO in the Eastern dialect is Sepa, which either way means the sword. Some say it's the year of the sword, but SEYFO just specifically means the sword of the Ottoman Turks that came down and killed so many Armenian and Ashuri people, and uh, specifically the Ashuri people that suffered. We lost about two-thirds from the sources that I have. We lost two-thirds of our population. Now, one thing that this book, I'm going to read from certain specific part. I hope it won't be too much what they call that, just reading, but it's just I want to give the sense of mentality of what was going on in their thoughts during that time, because I have this map. I don't see myself on the screen, but I have a map that I want to share with you. That these are the areas that were affected. The areas in the Middle East is Iran, northern Iraq, and southeast Turkey, I think. And let's see the one of the maps that shows. So in this one here, we have the general idea of the current country, Turkey. Back then was the Ottoman Turk Empire, and you can see the Black Sea on the north, Mediterranean Sea at the south. Istanbul is the Bosphorus area. You can see Bulgaria is the border, but to the east of the country, it's connected to east and southeast, connected to Iraq and Iran. And you see that Lake Van, and you see the city Diyarbakir or Diyarbakir. Some of the things that I'll be reading is like south of Diyarbakir. And but before reading from that, can we show the map like Iran, Iraq, Turkey border? Uh, you see the Caspian Sea north. This, I don't know if you can see Tehran. That's where I was born. Then you see that the area that is like pink relative to the white background. You see the area like Turkey, Iraq, and Iran meet. This is the area that is called Hekari Mountains, the Urmi, what they call it, the plain area that different, uh, let's say, parts of our different sects of our people that live there. The ones in Diyarbakir mostly, or Mardin or Midyat, these areas that I will be reading from the book, mostly belong to the Syriac Orthodox Church. The ones we see by North Iraq, the Hekari Mountains, majority of these people are belonging to the Chaldean, I'm sorry, belonging to the Church of the East at that time, and the Chaldean church. Then when you go to the Urmi Plains in that area, they're mostly Protestant, and the Protestants were, that's another amazing thing about Protestantism, is that when the English, when the French, when the Americans came to Turkey, Syria, Iran, Iraq, they wanted to convert Muslims to Christianity. What ended up happening is that they, uh, I don't know the conversion, if this is the correct word, but the Ashuri that were Syriac or Chaldean or Church of the East, all these apostolic churches, they converted these people to their version of Christianity that is called Protestant. Either could be evangelical, Presbyterian, what is the other one? Pentecostal. So many different branches that have come out when the Protestant system started, and it was amazing that they came to the, as I said, convert Muslims, and they divided our people. Sorry, I don't have my cup with me. I'm not at home doing the program. I want to thank my sister for allowing me to use her house. We're doing some repairs, and there were some loud noises. There was another map. I wanted to share that too. Which one was it? Yeah, this is now, when you look, if you can open it up, that Mardin, if you can focus more on that one. Can you open it up? The part says Mardin. So as you can see, when you look at Mardin, it just north of Bemishli, south of Diyarbakir, and Hakkari is on the other side. You see Urmi. These are the general areas that when the enemy, whatever there is called, but all of these happen in these areas, in that Mardin area, the Orthodox, Hakkari, mostly Church of the East. When you go south towards Erbil and Kirkuk and Qamishli, they're just Chaldean, and Urmi area was the mostly Protestant. It's a sad story, this part that the author is writing. So let me just read it. Oh, by the way, if you have any questions, any comments, as always, this is a live program. If I can answer it, I will. If not, we'll do it some other time. So he says, very little documentary evidence is available about the events in Midyat. So the following narrative is composed of various oral testimonies. So we need to have some kind of a background to see what happened in that area. So over the past centuries, the town of Midyat, which is in that Mardin province that you saw in that map. So over the past centuries, the town of Midyat had grown and became known as a safe haven for many Syriac and Chaldean families who fled oppression in other regions. Whole large clans sought refuge in Midyat, and he goes through the name of the families and where they were from, they came, and everybody settled in that area. The Kurdish emirs of the region of Botan, in the northern part of Upper Mesopotamia. So this is the part that we saw, it says Hakkari Mountains. So according to this, the Kurdish emirs like the leaders in that region of Hakkari, north of Iraq, were cruel and merciless in their treatment of Christians. In the 1840s, Emir Badr Khan killed many Assyrians, particularly in Botan and in the Hakkari Mountains. Botan is a region. We have Jilu, Botan, Tiari, Baz, Tchume. So, yeah, this guy, Emir Badr Khan Bey, whatever his name is, killed many Assyrians in Botan and the Hakkari Mountains during his well-known revolt. What is less known is that the massacres also affected the Syriacs of Tur-Abdin. I hate saying Syriacs, but I'm just reading the book. Instead of, as I said, everything that we see in the beginning of the book, we were known to outsiders through our denominations. Oh, you're Syriac Christian, or you're Chaldean Christian, or you are Church of the East Christian, or this Christian, or that Christian. But everybody was from the same. So I'm just going to read from the book and try to control myself not to change the wordings. So what is the less known is that the massacres also affected the Syriacs of Tur-Abdin. This crisis prompted the prominent Syriac leader in Midyat. His name was Grigo, to attempt to solve the security problem in the long term, appealing for protection from Kurdish Aghas residing in the valley of Nasib. So I'm trying to get this straight. The Kurdish in northern Hakkari Mountains are killing our people, and they fled and came to Midyat, that Mardin area, and this Syriac Orthodox Christian asked Kurds to come to his province, to his area, for protection. Maybe I'm misunderstanding something. Long-term, to solve the long-term problem, appealing for protection for Kurdish Aghas residing in the valley of Nasiba. Okay, he asked them to provide Kurdish people willing to settle in Midyat and assist in the population in defense against the recurrent attacks from the emirs. Why wouldn't you want to reinforce yourself instead of getting foreigners or outsiders to come and help you with the people that came and were suffering through the hands of their clans? Does that make sense? You're suffered under the Kurds in the Hakkari Mountains. They run away, they come to that region, Midyat, that I showed in the map. And that Syriac guy says, let's get these Kurds to come and protect us. If I had hair, I would be pulling it, Like, what are you doing? Because the long-term effect that it had, we see it through what happened in SEYFO, what we call the sword. Like, you say, I want to live, let me have some poison. Long-term. I don't know. Maybe they gave him money. I don't know. It doesn't say anything here. So he asked them to come here and settle in Midyat, assist the population defense against the recurrent attacks from the emirs. In consequence, 2 Kurds named this and that agreed to settle in Midyat, brought their large clans with them. Then this guy, Grigo, imposes a kind of local defense tax called khafirti. I guess that's what it's, a khafirti, on Syriac Christians. This money went into a fund to pay the 2 Kurdish clans so that they could establish themselves in Midyat. You're taking money from your own people. This is the map I'm looking. Yep. This is that Midyat that we're talking about, this area. This is now, you can see how big population has. So the guy is taking money from his own people, giving it to the Turks, to the Kurds, to come and live with us, to protect us. All right. Next, it says Sultan Abdul Hamid. So that's the leader or the king of the, what they call it, the Turks. Sultan Hamid bestowed decorations and medals on important people in places where his influence was weak. The aim was to create personal allies out of these people. So in Midyat, the head of the Safar clan, Hani Safar, received such a distinction. I think we have a photo of this guy. The Hamidi Medal. So the king of the Ottoman Empire, wherever he's weak, I think this is the guy sitting in the middle. This is or Hani Safar, which will we get a lot more information about him. See how much time we have here. So immediate emir that the sultan's power is not strong, he says, okay, the head of this Safar clan, it seems to be very prominent, probably wealthy. The guy, his name is Hani Safar, as you see him here, sitting in the middle. He received such a distinction, the Hamidi Medal. Hani Safar always represented the Syriac inhabitants in formal ceremonies, wearing his decorations, medals, and special sword. As a state certified ethnic leader, state certified, they certified him that you're the ethnic leader. Hani Safar had considerable power and controlled the Syriac affairs of Midyat and its surroundings in accordance with the will of Sultan. So whatever the Sultan said, he did. Not that whatever the people, I mean, he's over the people instead of the. The ultimate function of Hani Safar was to thwart any subversive movements against the government. The Syriacs of Tur-Abdin held him in awe and seldom dared to challenge him. In 1905, a feud took place between the clans of Chalma and Safar. Hani Safar was able, thanks to his unique political administrative status, to banish all members of the Chalma family from Midyat. They lived in exile for 7 years. So after the expulsion of the Chalma, Safar's main political rival was Gali Hermes, a popular Syriac Protestant and a member of district and province. So this guy is Syriac church, and they have feud with another guy, he's Syriac Protestant. And they live in the middle of these Kurds and Turks, and they don't get along. Guess what's going to happen? 1913, the Mardin priest Ishaq Armalu of the Syriac Catholic Church inspected Midyat and Tur-Abdin. He observed that in Midyat there lived between 6,000 to 7,000 people, majority of whom were Syriac-Orthodoxe, with about 80 Protestant, 30 Syriac, Chaldean, Armenian, 50 Muslim families. I think he didn't count maybe those Kurds. Anyway, so in 1913, an incident took place in Midyat that had deep repercussions for the climate of opinion among the Syriac Christians. It was connected with the banishment of Patriarch Abin. Sorry about messing up these names. So there is this patriarch that is banished from Midyat because of his unpopular attempts to reunite Tur-Abdin with the rest of the Orthodox Church. The guy wanted to be a uniter, and they didn't like it. And he was banished, and he was patriarch. So I thought when you're at the level of patriarch in these, what they call the apostolic churches, you're supposed to follow him. Or, I mean, this guy is talking about unity. See, little things that happened during that time, it added up. The people came from Hikari Mountains. This guy said, let's get some Kurds to come here and support us. This guy that is a patriarch and his deacons or whatever underneath him supposed to follow him because he's the head, apostolic succession, They banish him because he wants to unite the Tur-Abdin with the rest of the Orthodox Church. Since 1364, we're talking 1913, since 1364, like 570 years, the diocese of Tur-Abdin had been autocephalic with its own patriarch. Autocephalic, that means self-control. There is no other place. There is just this one. They have their own patriarch, even though there is all Syriacs. They don't belong to that, what they call in Antioch. So it was separate from the mother church ruled by the official patriarch of Antioch, who resided in Zafaran Monastery outside Mardin. The diocese of Tur-Abdin appointed some bishops and clergymen. Formally, Tur-Abdin rejoined the mother church in 1839, but the rivalry continued. However, Patriarch Ishmael, who was then the head of the Antioch Syriac Orthodox Church, strove for reconciliation. A year before SEYFO, a series of friendly conferences took place between the bishops of Tur-Abdin and the Patriarch, and they were still in progress when war broke out. Isn't that amazing? Like, I don't mean to be mean or anything, but these people, these people are representative of Jesus Christ, if I'm not mistaken, right? These are the ones that say that we are the ones holding the keys, open the heaven, or close shut the heaven, because Jesus gave the keys to Peter, and apostolic succession has come down to us, right? In this Bible, I believe it's in the Gospel of John, before Jesus is crucified, he says, he gives these uh, future apostolic succession people a new command. He tells them, love each other as I have loved you. And by loving each other the way I have loved you, the world will know you belong to me. I mean, these people are in the middle of discussions to be reunited. Haven't they read this book? I get confused sometimes. I mean, the way they dress, they put a cross on their chest, but when they start talking, I'm not saying all of them, but have you read this book? I mean, you're representing this book. You're saying you belong to Jesus Christ. I mean, this Jesus Christ, right? Who gave you new command, and you have to go through meetings for a whole year. And while you guys are going through the meetings, the enemy is preparing. They're doing everything they can. And it says, they were still in negotiations when the war broke out. Guess what? You shouldn't even have been in that position. You're in the middle of these people. I mean, Islam says that that's the only, what they call it, religion, true religion. Everybody else that is not, I haven't read Quran. Maybe you guys that know more about this can tell me. But it's a religion says whoever is not Muslim is infidel. And infidel means somebody that is like low, like no God, like you deserve to die, or we have to force you to convert, or if you don't want to convert, you have to pay jazia or whatever, because we are najis, we are unclean. That's what I know about this religion. Maybe I'm mistaken. And they are living in the middle of these, and they're fighting each other. What do you expect these other people to do? They say, wow. There was that video I saw. There are these two, I think they are like antelopes or deers or whatever. They're like fighting. And this lion comes, or two lions or whatever it was, just comes and kills them. They were so occupied fighting each other, fighting this lion. It was like easy meal. It's the easiest meal that these lions ever had. The prey said they didn't have to run, they didn't have to attack, from different angles. They're just standing there fighting, and they got him. This is what's happening here. Representative of Jesus Christ, you have to, one whole year, sit there, talk. If you want to reconciliate, become one with each other, and you are part of the same denomination. I'm not talking Chaldeans and Syriac reconciliation, or the Protestant with the Syriac reconciliation, or Chaldean Church of the East reconciliation. You were all same denomination, same, whatever you want to call that, the same communion, mass, everything, language, general area. Then the war breaks out, and they're still not reconciliated. Yeah. Well, another thing that happens is that the local people, a year before SEYFO, a series of friendly conferences took place between the bishops, as I read. Then they were still in progress, then the war breaks out. Very little is known about the nature of the negotiations or the opinion of the people of Midyat toward them. Clearly, the local faithful were not happy about the thought of reunion, since they banished their patriarch Aben just for beginning talks. It was common knowledge that Aben was very angry over leaving Midyat, and when he left the town, he uttered a curse. He said, I hope and pray that Midyat will be turned upside down. The guy was a patriarch. He's like the head of, of the church. He's the shepherd. They kick him out. He says, I hope this place is turned upside down. That's Christian love because you didn't get your way. See, in the beginning of the book, when you're reading, the author introduces us through our denominations. We are not known by our who we are. I will continue with that story because this Hannah Safar is an amazing story because even though it happened over 100 years ago, the effects of it, what is happening with some of our church leaders, with some of our politicians, as if we haven't learned the lesson of history. Now, one question, my dear fellow Syriac, Aramean, Chaldean, Ashuri, Assyrian, Arturian, I don't know if I missed anybody. I have a question for you. How do you differentiate between a Syriac, I mean, outside the religion or denomination? How is a Syriac or Aramean person different than a Chaldean, than an Assyrian or Arturi? How would you know the difference? Is there a difference except for the name? We speak the same language. Yeah, we have the Western dialect and Eastern dialect, same alphabet. Shlama, Shlomo, Pshena, Pshenu. There are some other words that maybe not as easier to understand, especially for me from the other side. But culture is the same. We are affected by the countries that we are moved there. Some of us that were in Turkey, we got some of their culture, some of us in Iran or Iraq or Syria. These are the main 4 countries that our people are from, that we are spread around the world. But how do you know the difference? Does a Syriac dance Sheikhani different than Chaldean or the Assyrian or the Aturi? Sheikhani is the same. How come? You're different nationalities. I was talking to this guy some years back. We were working together, and he had that English accent. And I said, "Hey, Douglas, you're English?" He got mad. He said, "No, I'm Scottish." You know, and the Scots hate English, and the Irish and Scots hate English, English, whatever, against the Scottish. And there is this Welsh. Ireland separated part of it. Now there's a small part called Northern Ireland. But guess what? When it comes to Olympics, they are together represented as Great Britain. The only time is that when they go to World Cup, they have England, Scotland, Ireland, this and that. How come? You're all Brits. In our case, it's the same. We have just go through the history. We are the same. Our language, our everything. There is no differentiation. You look at us, say who is who. That's why at the end of the program, I put the Sheikhani. This is our unity dance. Is it going to happen? Yeah. Is it going to happen in my lifetime? I really, really, really doubt it. But my part is just to keep going. The Ashur project is on. Everybody on different levels. We haven't come all together yet. But this is part of the Ashur project, providing program. Assyria TV is a bigger part of the Ashur project because it brings all these different programs, whatever the happenings are, to you. And there are other medias. We are working, even though separately, we're going to come all together. That's why, as I said, we played that Sheikhani. And we'll come to the end of the program. Thank you for watching. Never give up hope, no matter what. This book is amazing because it's reminding us of what happened. And if we don't change certain things individually, it keeps on happening. So until then, thanks again for watching. Ahiya Ashur Khaya Mabqila. Thank you very much and goodbye.
Sheikhani.